She's a celebrated dancer, a guru and a cultural leader. She has shaped generations through tradition, discipline and her artistic leadership. And today we are pleased to have her with us on International Women's Day, Padma Shri Geeta Chandran ji. Welcome to DNA, ma'am. So ma'am, over 50-year long journey, how has it been?
I think it's been wonderful because we come from a generation which didn't do anything for stakes. Yes. We learned things, we imbibed things from our gurus and teachers, and I think we just flow along with what comes and meander and kind of work our way through. So success came, that was okay. It didn't come, that was also okay. So life has been truly, I would say, we are blessed to have had fabulous teachers and a family that's very nurturing and a set of students now who are my gurus.
Who were the women who inspired you during this long journey?
My mother, for a start. She was the reason why I'm dancing today. She took me to my first female teacher, Srimati Swarna Saraswati, who was again a huge force in fostering the love for dance that I have today. So I think Swarna Amma was like a catalyst who really, as they say, gave me the fire in the belly to pursue it and to love what I do. Then there was Srimati Jamuna Krishnan, who was also my teacher and who was a very contemporary woman, who was an economics lecturer and a wonderful dancer, performer, teacher, choreographer. So I think these three women, I would say, and my mother-in-law silently supporting me, who was always like a champion for my cause and the cheerleader that I had, herself being a scientist with great discipline, and she was a path breaker in those days to be trained and to learn, to be educated in Kerala and come to Delhi and stay in the hostel and take up a job was not easy. So I admire her a lot for what she had done for the family.
What lessons did they leave you with, or anything inspiring that they?
I think hard work, perseverance and single-minded focus on what you do.
How important it is for women to stay that focused?
I think it's for anybody that is, I think, the test stone to stay the course. You know, I see a lot of talent amongst youngsters today, but the staying power, to take the highs and lows and to stay the course is the challenge.
Okay. Ma'am, if I have to ask you, what were the biggest challenges that you faced during the early days, or if not you, what were the challenges faced by other young performers?
I think we've crossed that, padav, so to speak, because I think today the children have the option of choosing whatever they have to choose. But the problem is that in a profession like dance, the road is not laid out, in the sense you have to make the road and walk it. So it's not like 5 years from now where would be, 10 years from now where you would be, nobody knows. It's like, it's very, you can't really spell it out. So that worries people, that worries parents, because they are concerned, because you're going into a profession which is uncertain. You don't know whether you're going to make it or not make it, and whether you will sail along. So I think that is the only worry. There's no stigma, but there's a worry of it being a profession which is rather loosely defined in terms of its road.
Yes. Ma'am, in one of your interviews I read that, during initial days, you heard somebody probably saying, ki, oh, she's naachne wali aa gayi. This is not something that you have faced, but you were just sharing an experience.
Yes.
So if you
I was in a small school in UP, and the boys or girls who were there to receive us, they saw us, that car coming, and they immediately ran inside and said, naachne wali aa gayi. So it rang a bell in my head, because in the South we never use this kind of language, and the word naach, unfortunately, in the North has had a bad connotation. They didn't mean anything derogatory, but it's just that for me the word jarred, because nritya is what we are used to. So the word naach, I think it's the association with the word that bothered me more than anything else.
But how has the space for women in classical dance evolved during these years, over the time?
I think it's been always special because this is one profession which was men had to fight for a space on stage. It was women who called the shots, and even in the traditional Isaivellar community, which is the community in which dance used to be done, the women used to dance and the men used to accompany and teach the dancers. So I think in this we had the privilege of being on stage, center stage, but yes, decision making and other things were in the hands of the men. So I think that's changed, and today I think we fight our own battles and we take the highs and lows.
Many of your works reflect strong female narratives, how important it is for art to give voice to women's stories and women issues.
I feel it's very important. The art is always a reflection of society, and it cannot be just a beautiful entertainment evening. I seriously believe that arts are capable of pushing their frontiers and saying and showing the mirror to society. So I've done things on stigma, taken up Kaikeyi, who is a character, nobody names their daughter Kaikeyi. And was she really wrong in asking for what she asked? If you go to the Ramayana and read it between the lines, you can see that, he doesn't paint her as a black character. It's we who have painted her, interpreted her as a black character, or for that matter, Draupadi, who's considered to be the cause of the war, the Mahabharata. I did one on her voice, which in the end she says, war is not the answer for anything. Muchate, muchate, let go, let's break the cycle of revenge. So I think these are very important statements that we make and very contemporary for today, and a society that is so stressed out and so violent. I think art should be a huge factor, and how we should say but it has to stem from a space of conviction. Absolutely. And it has to be an organic process. It cannot be something imposed because everybody is doing, I should also do. That kind of thing doesn't work, I feel. So I have always done what I feel strongly about, and I've tried to do it through my dance.
There's a long list of your achievements, but when we talk about Padma Shri recognition, what it means to you?
I think awards, how much ever you say that they don't mean anything, it does mean a lot. It meant a lot to my gurus, for example. It meant a lot to my students, my family. But as you rightly said, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And every time I feel responsible for my community, I need to speak up for my community. I need to keep my community together. There has to be one voice in which we speak. So I work a lot to have a cordial community of dance and see that there is, we are there for the youngsters, we stand up for them and we help them in navigating their careers.
In a world driven by instant fame and digital trends, how can young performers remain rooted, and how you ensure that they remain rooted in tradition while pursuing the art form?
Very hard, because I'm sometimes very, very upset about social media and the stars it's throwing up with these 2-minute reels, and these are dancers who can't even dance for half an hour, and here we have dancers who are trained to dance for 2.5-3 hours, and they are pitched against these people, and absolutely. They say, oh, but they have more following than you. So I think it's a joke. No festival should be curated on the basis of Insta following. I seriously believe that. Insta following is a cult, and it has to vanish as soon as possible.
But what advice would you give to young girls who aspire to build a career in performing arts?
I think the young are phenomenal. They have great staying power. They are working very hard, and I think they're working harder than our generation because the competition is so much more today than before. So they're putting a lot of effort. But I think on the side of the organizers, the patrons, they have to be more discerning.
But do you still, as you just said, do you see that there is some sort of fear, also certain societal pressure, if I have to say? I mean, when it comes to uncertainty in this art form.
No, I think uncertainty has always been there. But today the opportunities are also more. I mean, there are lots of opportunities too, which come with these challenges, Today, teaching is very lucrative, for example, in schools, which was not the case earlier. Today, every school realizes that co-curricular activity is very, very important. And dance, music, theatre, visual arts is given a lot of space, much more than what it was before. Then workshops are other mediums, which were not there earlier. So I think there are a lot of more spaces where dance is being used, dance as art, art education has become very important. So I think we're looking at the arts differently. So I think the opportunities are also going to come with it.
But don't you think that people today are not actually willing to come and be part of this art and cultural life and
No, I
get
think
into
it's
perform?
more, it's so many more.
Okay.
Because in a city like Delhi, if you see where we had 4 or 5 teachers for Bharatanatyam, today we have more than 250 or 300 teachers, you know. So I think the interest is growing, the fraternity is growing, and it won't grow if there is no opportunity. You know, everybody learns it because I feel they feel the need to understand Indian culture, to be to be able to relate to it, to be able to perform it. See, the problem is the performative aspect is all that you see.
Yes.
There is so much more to the learning and teaching of the arts. It is a transformatory activity. It is not like the other activities which you learn and you forget. Here it transforms you from inside. Also it links you to mythology, to spirituality, to rhythm, to poetry, to aesthetics, to form, color. So it brings so much into your life. So it's up to you what and how you use it in the coming years.
How do you define the role of women in preserving and shaping Indian classical arts today?
I think they've been the pillars. They've been doing human service as performers, as teachers, as choreographers, as interpreters of culture, as cultural ambassadors going abroad and performing. So I think women have been really the face of Indian culture, particularly in the performing arts.
And on this International Women's Day, what would be your message to women out there?
I think there is no ceiling now on how high the women can fly. Opportunities are there, go grab it and just go for it. I think there's no stopping the women today, and right from the space to any space here, I think you just need to go and grab it.
Well, on that beautiful note, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.